Welcome to the finale of the Injustice vs. the Masters of the Universe storyline. Injustice is a universe in which Superman lost Lois Lane because the Joker killed her and decided that every villain needed to die and that a militant rule would allow him to conquer the planet. Batman fought against him in the video games Injustice 1 and 2 and the various comics that are linked up to that. At the end of Injustice 2, one of the alternate endings was an ending in which Superman was using Brainiac tech to conquer the planet using the mind of Bruce Wayne patched into his own. In that timeline, a different Batman decided to go through the multiverse and find a hero that may stand up to Superman, and the hero that he chose was He-Man. Now, when we last left off with this storyline, we discovered that Batman was still captured and that his son Damian Wayne had picked up the mantle and was the one who had seeked out He-Man. He-Man and Superman fought it out, but in the end, He-Man ended up losing. And while this was going on, Skeletor had gotten his own power sword and become Shazam. We are now in the final 2 issues of this amazing crossover. If you're wondering where you are, this is Comicstorian. We bring you the audio dramas of your favorite lore within comic books, video games, and movies. And I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Back at the Oracle, Superman lifts He-Man up, stating, "I don't need Skeletor or anyone else to kill Prince Adam. You are nothing without your magic castle." Just then, a vision of the sorceress appears before He-Man, telling him that they need his help. A few moments pass and He-Man tells Superman that Darkseid is on Eternia. He stole the spirit of Greyskull, and he has the anti-life equation. Superman grips down on He-Man's throat when Zatanna stumbles in from the back, stating that it was their plan all along. Darkseid and Skeletor, they've teamed up. While Superman and He-Man kept each other busy, Darkseid attacked Eternia. The equation, the ultimate spell. To hear it is to be robbed of the will to live. Earth is straight up boned. Superman lets go of He-Man and lunges at Zatanna, shouting, "No! This is my homeworld, I control it!" Just then, Wonder Woman begins to laugh. She coughs, asking, "Batman, you see it now? He-Man, he was a Trojan horse. He came bearing gifts, the same with Skeletor. He has returned, bursting at the seams with the power of Shazam." Superman slowly steps back, looking at Damian's body, stating that Batman tells him that this war has cost him his son. Wonder Woman killed him, and now she's bleeding out. The only way that she will face justice is if she lives. Stop time for her. Send her to the Phantom Zone. And while you've got the door open, bring Supergirl back. Release her, Superman. Superman stares, stating, "This isn't the old days. You don't get to tell me what to do. I don't care if Damian Wayne is dead and Wonder Woman did it. You do not get to tell me what to do." So Batman tells him, "The world is under siege. Darkseid has the anti-life equation. No one is safe. We need to stop him and his allies together." Back on Eternia, Cyborg and the others group together to try and tend to their wounds. The war between the factions continues to rage on, though. And then there's a faint hope as the portal opens up, letting Batman and the others through with the help of Swamp Thing. Harley Quinn shouts, asking, "What's the plan, Daddy Bats?" And Batman tells her, "You're part of the Justice League now. Pick a monster and start punching." Back inside Castle Greyskull, Skeletor swings and Darkseid says that he can see that this was his plan from the beginning. All of this manipulation so that you could come here. The fighting sends the two down into the deepest reaches of the castle, the nexus of all realities. Darkseid looks at the orb of power and says that this is what he wanted, and Skeletor tells him that he wants to slip from his fingers far too many times. "I will have that power. I will have Eternia." Skeletor jumps down, driving his sword into Darkseid's chest, but Darkseid willingly takes it, stating, "That is the difference between us. You want." Darkseid swings his arm, shattering the sword, telling Skeletor, "Well, I simply seek to provide the gift of eradicating free will." As the sword breaks, Skeletor's power quickly begins to fade, and Darkseid uses both fists to slam into Skeletor. Skeletor gasps for air, and Darkseid begins to recite the equation. Loneliness and alienation and fear and despair. But before he could finish, there's a loud crack as a rush of energy throws Darkseid off balance. Superman stands with his hands together, telling him, "Bravo, you're gonna fall now, just like your son." Darkseid cracks Superman in the head, launching him across the room, telling him, "I knew that this day would come. Prison camps for dissenters, mass thought control, a population on its knees. Sooner or later, you would have grown hungry for more. More subjects, more camps, more control. But despite your insistence otherwise, you have decided to become me. And there is only room for one Darkseid." Superman struggles through Darkseid's attacks, reaching for the orb of power, telling him, "No, I am not trying to become you. I am trying to win. He takes the orb, slamming it into Darkseid's chest, calling to He-Man. And seconds later, He-Man jumps in, stabbing the power sword into Darkseid. Darkseid stumbles back as his body begins to glow, asking, "What have you done?" And He-Man tells him, "We use the key to open up the orb of power. It's reaching out, converting that which it touches into information, all to be gathered and stored beside the Council of Elders, to be used by students of great will in the pursuit of wisdom and individuality." Darkseid screams in pain, a scream that stops everyone out in the battlefield, and Superman pulls the sword back out of the orb of power. Skeletor then crawls to him, telling him, "I am delighted that my grand plan has worked so well. As I intended, it is I who now controls the orb and the spirit of Greyskull." Superman smiles. "Thank you for your part in this. I will use these tools to eliminate evil. All evil, starting with you." He thrusts his arm into Skeletor's chest and then throws him to the ground. He-Man calls out to Skeletor, and Skeletor tells He-Man, "You missed me." He-Man gets up shouting, "What have you done?" Superman looks at him, telling him, "It doesn't matter now, because I'm going to fix it all." Surrounding Superman, all of the possible realities float, waiting for one to be chosen. Superman goes on telling him, "When you lose someone, when they die, you always think, what if something could have been different? Anything, even just a little thing. What would that have changed? Would they still be here instead of gone forever?" The Nexus shows every possible universe. To step into the stream without a guide is to be swept into the currents of the multiverse. But together, we can achieve something great. He-Man tells him no. He will not help him after what he's done, so Superman tells him, "I have Darkseid's soul siphon, the spirit of Greyskull, along with the anti-life equation. There's no way of stopping me now." "But you do have a way to save Clark Kent." He-Man pauses for a moment and then he reaches out. Seconds later, the two step out into the untouched metropolis and He-Man says that it's beautiful. Superman smiles. "It is. This is the morning that I found Jimmy at the docks. I went after Joker when he was dosed with fear toxin, and I ended up killing my own wife and son. If anything had been different, Jimmy and Lois would still be alive. Show me. Show me the paths not taken to better worlds." After visiting so many worlds, Superman says that it is enough. He has seen them all. 1 billion different choices. He saw worlds without the regime because Lois and his son lived for a time. But then eventually there was always something. A drunk driver, an earthquake, a heart attack, cancer, tripping on the damned stairs. There was always something that he couldn't control. He grabs He-Man by the throat, telling him, "My brain works like a computer. It knows how to see things now. The only way to be sure that everything goes right is to direct it myself, and I will use the spirit of Greyskull and the orb together. I will spread the anti-life equation throughout every universe. I am sorry that it must end like this. You were a good man, Adam. None of this would have been possible without you." As Superman's grip tightens, Adam blinks and finds himself in a faraway place. The Rock of Eternity. He-Man looks around asking, "What is this?" And the great wizard Shazam tells him that this is his home. He once shared his great power with a boy named Billy Batson, and then Superman killed him. He-Man says yes. Skeletor took that power for himself, and then Superman murdered him as well. And the great wizard tells him, "Yes, Skeletor did steal my magic and put it into a power sword, scoundrel of a demon. But you see, the self-proclaimed Lord of Destruction did us a bit of a favor when his black heart stopped. He passed the power of the 6 immortal elders to a worthy host, and that host is you, Prince Adam. Now go. All it takes to be a hero is one little word. Say my name!" Back with He-Man and Superman, He-Man manages to get out one little word. Shazam! He-Man grabs Superman by the throat, telling him that the magic of Shazam, enhanced by the orb of power. "You're done, Superman." Superman's body begins to turn into information just like Darkseid's, and he says that in some of those realities, he saw them become friends. As a blinding light, and then nothing. Back on Eternia, Darkseid's orbital intimidator begins to fall from the sky, and Supergirl quickly tries to catch it. The weight pushes her down, and suddenly she feels it stopping, and she asks how. Down on the ground, He-Man, back with the spirit of Greyskull running through him, holds the massive ship up. He throws the Intimidator over and sits down, stating that Darkseid and Skeletor have been defeated, and Castle Greyskull has been saved. Batman then asks, "What about Superman?" And He-Man tells him, "A black racer came. He took Superman's hand and he offered a reunion with his family. Your world is free, and so is Clark Kent. So, Earth, along with Eternia, was saved by a group of unlikely heroes. Swamp Thing and Mossman planted a tree at every grave for each of the people of Avion who fell during Darkseid's assault. The Sorceress returned to Castle Greyskull, where she guards all of the wisdom in the universe, except for the anti-life equation, which remains the solemn duty of the spirit of Hero. The remains of the Orbital Intimidator have been turned into a new hypersecurity prism by Man-at-Arms and Batman. The inmate exchange was quick to ensure safety. Evelyn and her new roommate, Wonder Woman, do not get along. Skeletor's body was never recovered, so Zatanna and Sorceress kept watch over the multiverse should he reappear. Batman and the Justice League returned to Earth, dismantling Brainiac's leftover technology and the regime it upheld. The League's numbers grew as old heroes and new ones stepped forward. Kara Zor-El hopes to remind the people what the symbol that she wears originally stood for, and Regina Taylor, bearer of the power of Shazam, took inspiration from a tale told by a barbarian. Now there are two who watch over the cosmogonic equilibrium as the Black Racer saw fit to spare Zodiac from the Great Darkness. Together, Zodak and Metron of the New Gods race to ensure the return of balance between good and evil by searching out champions from each of the universes that they are charged to watch. And now, they know just where to look. And that concludes Injustice versus the Masters of the Universe. Now, honestly, I thought this was probably one of the cooler crossovers. When it first came out, I was like, there's no way I'm reading that. It's going to be a stupid, stupid book. They're just trying to cash in on Injustice. But seeing how well it tied into the ending of Injustice 2 and what they decided to do with each of the characters, I was excited. I liked that it pretty much continued our Injustice universe. What did you guys think of this down below? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know, do you want more Injustice? Because DC needs to bring us more Injustice, doesn't it? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian.